Hi guys, welcome to a new video. Today I would like to share with you one of the best pieces of advice I got before my first Ironman, and that is to not have a finish time goal for your first Ironman. This is one of the best pieces of advice I got before the race, but in the moment it didn't really register as a piece of advice and I didn't take it. And man, do I wish I had. If you're training for your first Ironman, I would like to first tell you, great job. Doing an Ironman is an amazingly brutal challenge, and I hope your training is going well, you are progressing, and you are getting in shape to tackle this big goal. Then I would like to share with you the reasons not having a specific time goal for your first might be a good idea, and something to consider in your race strategy. This tip was given to me by Anastasia Chernenko, who used to be a professional Ukrainian triathlete in short course and then became a very competitive age grouper and Kona finisher. Now she's a triathlon and Ironman coach. So this is just to be clear that this advice doesn't come from someone who doesn't know what they're talking about. I just finished Ironman 70.3 Italy when I met her. We were talking and she asked me what my future goals were. I told her that I definitely wanted to do an Ironman. And literally the first thing she told me was, first Ironman, no time goal. In the moment, I didn't really think much about it. But over time, and after having done a couple of them, I understood perfectly what she meant and why it is a really good piece of advice. Having a time goal for the first Ironman, in my opinion, takes away from the enormous achievement that just finishing the race itself is. Doing an Ironman in and of itself, within the cut-off times, is already an insane feat that an incredibly small percentage of the human population will accomplish. Months of training leading up to what will probably be the biggest and longest effort of our lives up to that point is already a lot. The focus during the race really needs to be, first of all, to get fit and healthy at the start line. That is the first thing. If you're not fit and healthy enough to get to the start line, you can't race. And once you're at the start line, it is get to that finish line, no matter what. It will be the first time we are doing an Ironman, so many things during the event will be out of our control and unexpected things will happen, primarily because we have never done an effort like this, both in length and intensity. You can't do an Ironman in training, so the first time you do one, it's an experiment and it's in the race. In my opinion and my experience, it needs to be viewed as a way to learn, grow and progress. Having a time goal for our first Ironman, in my experience, just adds unnecessary pressure that during the race can really mess up our mindset and with our capacity to think lucidly and to make good decisions that will get us to that finish line. In my experience, letting go of any time expectation also allows to really take in the race atmosphere, the crowds, the pain we are feeling, the emotions that we feel during the race. It can allow us the freedom to slow down a bit if we want to, but even kiss our girlfriend if we feel like we want to do that during the race. And this will make the day 10 times more enjoyable. First Ironman is about going the distance and seeing what completing that distance feels like, and then how we grow from this massive effort. Tackling this beast of a distance and crossing that finish line is a one-of-a-kind feeling in and of itself. If we get a good time, well, yes, that is a great plus, but the success of the day, in my opinion, is deeply tied to just finishing and completing the race, crossing that finish line. Getting to that red carpet and to the finish line shoot is the primary goal. Focusing too much on a time goal during the first attempt at this huge distance might make us overpace and go too hard and maintain a too hard of an intensity, even if we're not feeling like it on the swim and bike, and maybe even on the run, which might lead us to blow up. Combining chasing a time goal with doing an effort for the first time, I think can be a really bad recipe for overpacing. And overpacing, you can kind of cheat and maybe overpace a bit and have a good result in a 70.3, but in an Ironman, you just can't. You will blow up. This is my experience. And this actually happened to me in my first Ironman. And this really led to the worst feeling of my life during the last 2 laps. I felt completely empty and was barely moving my legs. In my mind, I thought that I could go sub 10 in my first Ironman. So I probably chased that goal too much, and that ended up with me overpacing and not having a great day, to be honest. If you're not focusing on a time goal, our mind might have more bandwidth to deal with problems that might arise in a good way and find solutions that will allow us to get to the finish line. Another reason for not having a time goal is also because everything looks easy on paper. What most people do, including me at the time before my first Ironman, is look at the individual times that we take to cover the distances and then just add them up, allowing for some minutes for transition. Well, newsflash, Ironman Triathlon is not swimming, biking and running. It is not 3 sports. These 3 sports become a single one on the day of the event. And even though we might have practiced for months in training at specific paces and intensities, on race day, these paces become a lot less precise and need to be just a guideline because we are in actuality doing a different sport. We are doing Ironman Triathlon. You don't know what intensity you can actually hold for the final 10 kilometers of the Ironman marathon because you have never done that exact thing yet because it is a fundamentally different sport. It's different from the training and different from analyzing our paces in swim, bike, run and adding them up. Another reason that I see time and time again with age group athletes, and why not having a time goal in my opinion is good, is that whatever result you get in your first race, you will never be completely satisfied and you will want to do another one. Whatever time you finish with, whether it was your goal or you missed your goal or you exceeded it, you will have learned so much during the race by way of making mistakes. You will instantly be thinking about all the things that you could have done differently to go faster. What gear to change, strategies, changes in nutrition, training methods, and in the taper. If your goal was sub 12 and you even accomplish it, you will instantly be thinking about what you could have done differently to go faster and to get sub 11. If you get sub 10, you will want to do another one to get to Kona or to go sub 9. If you go sub 9, you will want to do sub 840, I don't know, or something like that. So in my opinion, for the first race, go for it with no time goal. Deal with the day, and then you will have a benchmark and a lot of data and experience to work with for the next one. In my experience, so many things can go wrong and will go wrong during the first Ironman that expecting to do our best possible result on our first attempt is really a remote possibility. The weather might change, the swim might have chop in the water, it might rain, we might drop our nutrition, get a flat, etc. Timing the success of the day to a time result, in my opinion, for the first Ironman is not a great idea. Also, another reason why not having a time goal for your first Ironman might be a good idea is the total opposite, because having a time goal might actually hold you back. This is a very rare occasion, but there are some people who will follow their plan, which might be a little bit too conservative for them, and they end up the race feeling like they didn't give it everything and that they could have done better. Sometimes people have told me that they felt fine after the finish line, that the next day they had minimal pain in the legs and minimal fatigue. This, in my opinion, is not a good thing. If the day after a race you aren't limping, at least a little bit, and you're not struggling with fatigue, it means that you had more to give during the race. Race day is the day where we give everything we've got. We've been working for months for this. Literally, we should get to the finish line feeling like we could not complete a single next step, in my opinion. That is the sign that we truly maxed out our potential and gave it our all. And this also takes trial and error, to not go too far overboard and blow up. And definitely, I would not advise to put everything on the line in the first Ironman. But I would also advise to go for it and to not be afraid to push harder if at the halfway mark of the marathon, we are feeling better than expected following our plan. I repeat, this is a very rare occasion. And in the vast majority of cases, the halfway point in the marathon is where we'll start to feel the pain and we start fading. And all we must do at that point is concentrate on holding that pace and not slow down too much. But if you are one of those rare people and if you feel good, go for it and really dig deep. The transformation and growth we go through in that final half marathon, if we really are pushing our limits and pushing hard, is life-changing. It is a one-of-a-kind experience. And this, for some people, will mean throwing the pacing plan out of the window and deciding to push harder. So guys, that was one of the best pieces of advice I'd ever gotten. No time goal for your first Ironman. I really wish I had taken it more to heart when I first got it. It really would have helped me enjoy the first experience in this beautifully brutal sport of Ironman Triathlon. And if you are training for your first Ironman or 70.3, I hope it might help you in getting the most out of your race day, cross that finish line, and celebrate and value your amazing accomplishment and be proud of it. Thanks for tuning in. I hope this tip helps you, and I will see you in the next video.